Matron, take them away. Oh.
Okay, boys and girls, something different for Coffee with Scruff this week, because normally you might have seen me getting interviewed and sort of telling my story many times. I thought I'd swap it round and I'd have a professional trader come on and just have a chat. No real script, just two guys having a chat about things that we love. So I'd like to welcome Jordon. How are you doing, kid?
G'day, g'day. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for introducing me and coming on. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where our conversation leads. Obviously, not having a script's always a fun one, and it's going to be raw. It's going to be real, which is exactly what we both like to promote. So yeah, I'm doing well. How you doing?
Very well. And if you're excited to talk to me, I can honestly say you need to get out more. So.
Yeah, maybe might be onto something there. It's this weather, I'm telling you. I'm waiting for summer to knock on the door, and it's just not arriving. So
don't. The last time we spoke, we had this conversation. You were in the sun, I was in the rain, and nothing's changed.
Yeah, sun's disappeared, but I am, just to rub it in a little bit, next week heading up to tropical Queensland for about 5 days, where it's just going to be absolutely gorgeous. So I'll send you some photos. Don't worry. I'll make sure you feel the love.
Oh dear. Oh, okay. Sorry, boys and girls. Jordon and I have met and we have spoke, and we have a mutual connection. We both involved with the 5%ers in one way or another. Jordon is a professional trader in his own right and a chief strategist. But he's also creating a brand of his own, which is Trade Delicious. And I thought, let's have a chat because we're in the same circles. And here we are. But who's Jordon? What's his personality? What drives you? Because we all have a story into how we become traders.
Yeah, long story. I guess you've got to kind of know my whole story in order to understand my personality or who I am as a person. And I don't want to put anyone to sleep. I know it's getting late over there, but we don't want to go that deep. What drives you really stood out to me in what you just asked me there. And I think that's important that a lot of people know. I read a book, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago. The author's slipping my mind here, but he told me about an activity called 7 Reasons Why. Have you heard of this activity?
Not read. I've read many books. It's not like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that sort of thing.
No. It was a bit more niche. I think it was Dean Grazioli or something like that. I think he made his money in real estate in the US. And anyway, he was talking about 7 Reasons Why, and he does it with his money coaches. And it's essentially where you sit down with someone you trust, someone you respect, that you can get like on a deep level with. We can all say we sit down with mates and I trust them, but realistically, you're going to have take a bit of banter out of each other and whatnot. You really someone you respect, sit down, and you ask each other why 7 times, and seems so silly, but it was so emotional, and it really gave me my drive, why I do what I do, why I'm a trader, why I'm grinding in every way. And you sit down and you ask, okay, Scruffy, why are you a trader? And the aim of the game is to answer as in depth as possible. Like seriously, go levels, try and get really deep. Why are you a trader? And you'll say, whatever it might be, I love the freedom. I want to be free. I want to be able to control my own money, whatever it might be. And then I'll ask, okay, why do you want to be free? Why do you want to control your own money? And you do it going really in depth every time till the 7th level. And that 7th level will be the level on where you see your real driving force on why you're doing what you're doing. It's powerful, it's strange, and it's conflicting. And it was emotional when I first did it, but once I hit that 7th level, I knew that was, and the reason I do what I do is because I like power. Power, that's right. Now, when I say power, when I say power,
right,
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not like in this like big power hungry, I need everyone to work for me, like be in charge type thing. It's the power of my own life. It's the control over being able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it. That power and control of not having to do a certain thing because someone else wants you to do it or because you need or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? It's just that power, that freedom in being in control, and that's why I became a trader, and that's my real driving force. But
Okay.
I know that's a little bit out, and no one still has any idea.
It's not, because I mean, I wouldn't have called it power. I would have called it master of your own destiny. You know, that's something that I grew up with. But let me ask another question. Based on this, are you married?
No.
Right. Get married, and you'll go through that exercise every day. Why did you do that?
No.
Why did you put that there?
I ask myself that trading all the time.
But no, that is actually superb, because it opens up a Pandora's box of personality. Now, for me, when I'm talking to various traders in group, etc., it's always show me X marks the spot. Just give me a strategy. I'll be all right with a strategy. Whereas I don't think there's a bad strategy, but I think there are bad traders. And that might be from your power exercise. I mean, what's your take? Do you think that there's the perfect system out there, or are you along the way with me that it's either good trader, bad trader, and you just got to be able to recognize conditions and then work within a disciplined framework? That's my
Absolutely.
take.
Absolutely. There's no holy grail. And it's this horrible trap that people seem to think that there's a holy grail. There's not. It's not there. Like you're chasing something that's ridiculous. You can go on YouTube and Google trading strategy, and there'll be one on there. And if you traded it perfectly, or at least using your own mind as well, you could probably become profitable off one of those absolutely bare, just ridiculous trading strategies. You probably could go on to make a bit of money. And the thing is, people miss the real element of what it is to be a trader. And they've tried to become so mechanical that they can be automated. Well, if you can be automated, just automate it. Go make an EA and have it done. Like you're trying to get down to X marks the spot, put your stop here, take profit here, same amount of pips every time. You're an EA. Like why are you bothering sitting in front of the screens? Just code it and let it do itself. And then once you've coded it, you'll back test it and you'll find out that it probably doesn't work over long term. I think personality, perception, and what everyone looks down of when emotion gets involved, everything, they're actually edges. I think they help traders. And especially me, I know, because I love to sit down and just really dive into the whole emotional side of trading when I'm taking trades. Why am I doing that? How do I feel about it? Same way when I'm making decisions like to take profits or scale out, scale in. Why? Always asking myself why. And over time, you get to understand of when you get a certain feeling in your gut, when you get a certain feeling in your head, it's actually a signal. And that signal is my edge in the market, is I understand what my subconscious is trying to tell me when I'm looking. And for you out there that have heard of me or do know me, you'll know that I like to fade the Asian session. It's how I trade. And it's very perceptual in the way that I need the Asian session to do something first, a little bit out of the ordinary for me to like the idea of fading it. Now, that doesn't happen too often. I'll manage to find opportunities almost every day, but it's very perceptual in the way I need to see something move out of the way that gets a lot of people uncomfortable, so I can pull it back in. But I'm relying a lot on gut feeling. I'm relying a lot on my senses on, is this going? Yes, the strategy has a plan. I have a trading plan. I have rules. But at the end of the day, pulling that trigger is all down to how I'm looking at the chart and how I'm feeling about it.
And do you think that comes more from a teaching point of view or an experience point of view? Because for me, I always say I can give you everything, but I can't give you experience. And with experience, they'll say, how did you know that? I say, I've seen it 1,000 times before. So I've got a fair idea, but that's almost muscle memory. So experience for me has a lot. So when you're
No.
fading the Asian market, is that just because you're looking at it constantly, or because it was trained into you?
No. That was purely based on me. I've never had a educator trade the Asian session. I've never watched anyone trade the Asian session. Is completely foreign market. Early on in my career, I'd stay up late and try and trade London, try and trade US, because that's where everything moves. That's where the money's to be made. And I would stay up ridiculous times. I even took a wild swing at trading the stock market in the US, which meant I was up till about 5 a.m. every day, like all night, worked through the night. And one day I was just a bit over it, and I was like, the market moves. Yes, we're in the Asian session, but the market still moves. Surely there's an element in here that I can find. So that's when I committed and said, let's take this seriously. Let's really dive in and have a look. And it took a little while to get used to. But I mean, sometimes I pull more pips out of the market than what the market moves, just purely through trading it and everything. But there's a lot of opportunity in there, and I feel like most people fear it because of its slow movement, when I think it's actually an edge. I mean, you've got more time to think, you've got more time to react. It's more beneficial in my opinion.
I was about to say that. I've traded the Asian session a few times for the guys, because I often get asked, I work, or I do have people on your side of the planet who then go, oh, it's very slow. And my response is, well, it's still a market, but just pick the product that suits the market. So when I've done it myself, I've looked at the Aussie pairs, I've looked at New Zealand pairs, I look at world drivers like oil and gold, because they're 24-hour markets. I mean, are you along with that, or is it a case of just doesn't matter what it is, I'm going to have a punt?
No. I've definitely confined the assets I'm trading. I don't really touch commodities very much. I've been trading around indices recently, especially the XJO or the Oz 200. Been very, very powerful in trading the open of that and running how we did the previous day. The Nikkei, I'm not a huge fan of, but I do think it's a big driver of the Japanese yen, and you can find opportunity in the correlation between those two. Mostly if I'm not seeing anything extended. So pairs like your majors, like Great British Pound, US dollar, Euro, US dollar, anything with like the Swiss franc, Asian session, I very rarely touch them unless there's something going on, or we've gotten big movements, which is very out of the ordinary. You know, if we're in the first hour, 2 hours of the Asian session and Euro's pumped up 40 pips, I know that is completely out of the ordinary. That's like screaming red light for me. Hey, let's look to fade this back into value. Let's start trading this. If it's doing what it usually does, for example, if we look at today, we haven't opened up yet. Never mind. I'm getting confused in the time that we're at. But
it's too early for you, kid.
Coffee's not here yet. No, but yeah, if we're not getting any large movements early in the Asian session there, and when I say large movements, nothing compared to what the US traders or the EU traders see, I won't touch those. If I'm looking or feeling very scalpy, like there's not going to be much fading opportunity out there today, I just want to be really scalpy, US dollar, Japanese yen's probably my go-to.
Oh, okay. And when you're looking to fade, now I'm a good retracement trader, because I like to trade the extremes of the market. You know, I like an overstretched Bollinger Band crashing off a key level. But then my barometer is always Fibonacci, because I'm big on maths and things like that. When you're fading, are you just looking for that crash against a level, or is it going back to what you were saying, your emotional gut feeling? Is it just, oh, I think this candle is at the end of its tether, now's the time to pull it back? Or are you looking for certain key points in the market?
No, there's definitely key points, and there is a trading plan in there. That kind of gut feeling is whether or not I pull the trigger. So I'll have incentives. I'll have little things that I want to see. Obviously, overextended. Love to see that, or as you mentioned, a real stretch out of the market, testing some big levels. My biggest indicator I'd use is volume. Getting an understanding of where people are buying, why they're buying there, where most of the trade's being filled. And you can do this a number of ways on whether or not you're using just a normal volume indicator. You can use the volume profile. You can get an idea of realistically where bulk orders are coming in. And when we get really stretched and start testing these higher levels, or even if you have a look as we're breaking daily highs or weekly highs, Asian session especially, we manage to break these levels, but we don't go anywhere once we break them. So realistically, I'm not looking for a direct bounce off of them. I'm looking for a breakthrough and then a pull right back in. And the ideology behind that is we don't have the volume to sustain big moves. So if we get a big move through a big level, all the volume of that session was in breaking that, not in holding that. And you'll see majority of the time we'll break this level and it will trap so many traders thinking this is like a normal session, break, retest, buy. That retest isn't actually a retest. It's a straight stump back down. Now, gut feeling comes in on how far I want to take it. It's a matter of, have we really found the top, or am I just trading a pullback? And that's where my gut feeling really pulls through on how quickly I get out of the position, where are my target levels, getting an understanding of the volume once I'm in the trade. Realistically, are we just on a mere pullback and I should look to take 10, maybe 15 pips? Or have I hit a reversal? Can I take this for another 30, 40 pips?
Okay. And once you've pulled the trigger and you've decided your target, how long into the Asian session will you run? Now, this is a question what I want to bring up, and it's really for my guys, because they're always itching with the trigger. They want to be in the markets more. And I have a mantra that I have, and it's behind me. It's up there. Less is more. So if I see a good opportunity and I've got a good chunk out of it and I've sized appropriately to pay me, I quit. So I might trade once or twice. How many times are you in the market in a single session?
It depends on the session. As an average, I'd argue maybe 2 trades a session. There's been days where I've had 9, 10. There's been days where I've sat there and just been absolutely bored. But
that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. And it's good looking back on that. And it's something I note in the journal as well. Bored. If you feel it, definitely put it in. And most of the time when I have seen no opportunity, if I had forced a trade, it would have been a loss anyway. So it is a good thing. But yeah, I'd say on average, maybe 2 trades. In terms of time frame that I'm in positions, really depends on whether or not I think I've got a pullback or a reversal. If I'm feeling I've got a reversal, I'll hold on till 4 or 5 o'clock at night, which will be, I'll hold on for, a good 9 hours on the trade, even though I'll be trading the 5-minute, 1-minute time frame. If I've managed to really pull a reversal, I'll scale it out as we move along and just manage that position, moving my stop with it. And hopefully, for the full 9 hours, it goes that way. But we'll take what I can. If I'm getting a vibe that I haven't hit a reversal, I'm just hitting a pullback here, I'll take majority of the position off at my first take profit level. I like to set levels, an overall target of where I want to hit, and then levels where I think it's going to be tough to break. And these levels where it's going to be tough to break is usually where I'll find myself scaling out, or at least watching really closely on how we react from these levels. If I'm not very confident that we've gotten a full reversal and we're just hitting a pullback, that first level there, I'm taking majority of the position off, banking, the pips that I could at that point in time, as you say, happy with the reward, pull the stop in, watch it. If we can manage it right the way down and it was a reversal, fantastic. If not, and we keep going higher, fantastic. I've still taken money off the books.
Funny enough, your description of what you're doing is very similar to mine, in the sense I manage in a similar way. So we kind of trying to get to the same destination on different roads, if you like, because I don't use volume at all, but I use size of candles, which is volume. Well, the scaling and the one thing and another, that resonates a lot with me. And I hope my guys that are watching this can pick up that there's another professional trader pretty much doing exactly what I do. And for me, I'll tell you why I do it, and then maybe you can answer the same question. I scale out of a trade because I want to be paid for my effort. But as soon as it comes to a roadblock, i.e. a key level, I don't know whether that level is going to hold or not till it's actually crashed through it. So I'd rather trade free air. Does that ring true, sort of thing?
Absolutely. The first point of taking money off because you want to be paid, I don't resonate as much with that one. It not necessarily. I know we work a little bit differently in the way you set daily goals and stuff like that. I work a little bit differently, rather basing on probability and long-term effect on confidence in strategy. But when it comes down to, obviously, I'll set a full target. Let's say I'm trying to get to the other side or the daily low, and I see we've got 6 levels to go through. I mean, probability, the more levels we have there, probability of this trade being successful, it's going against me. And every time we break one of these levels, while a lot of people will think, oh yeah, this is getting better and better, more and more confident, I actually see probability getting even worse, because every time we break one of these levels, there's less and less. For this example, I'm going to use a short position. I think when I mention fading, most people automatically think of shorting. So I'll use a shorting example. Every time we break one of these levels, there's less and less sellers getting into the market. While we are breaking this, buyers are getting stronger, getting weaker and weaker and weaker. This move as we're moving down. So yeah, every level in the I like trading free air. Free air is lovely because I'll get more confidence, more probability of less rejection. And every level we do test is another opportunity for buyers to take control. And I don't want to be in the market if buyers are going to take control. So I'll cash out as it moves that way.
Excellent. And I'm 100% with you on that, because that's my theory. You know, I think as it goes down, it gets weaker, the barriers become stronger. But there's also barriers and barriers, because you mentioned you're looking at a 1 minute to 5 minute chart. Now, personally, I think any level that low, well, anything below an hour even, is paper thin. It's like tissue paper. So my own levels are really high up the chart. I mean, are you taking sort of high time frame concepts into a low time frame entry? Or are you concentrating in the low time frames?
So I'll mark out levels I should be aware of from the higher time frames. I'll mark out areas of rejection, daily highs, weekly highs, all these different types of areas where we've seen a lot of orders come in, and we know there's a lot of money in that area. It's a very attractive price, but I'm very much concentrated in those smaller time frames. I'm looking at how volume's being filled in the market, with what confidence level are people trading this asset, where do we realistically want to move, picking apart the price action, picking apart the volume candles, picking apart the profile, the directional movements, obviously, looking at some correlation pairs, looking at indices when I'm trading the currencies, how are their stock markets opening up, why are they running that way? But yeah, very much concentrated in the smaller time frames, just trying to pull it back to what I like to call fair value, which is, you know, when we get an extension range, there's a median price there, which a lot of people like to trade. Usually it sits around, I know you're a big Fibo trader, around the 50%. If you can get a little bit lower, even better. But that's what I'll call fair value, where majority of the orders in this whole extension move realistically were filled. That's going to be my main target level. And when I'm looking on the smaller time frames, yes, I'm looking on the 5 minute or the 1 minute, but I am zoomed out. I can see the full day. I can see the full day of yesterday. So I get an idea of a higher time frame just looking at the smaller candles.
Super. And when you were building up the way that you trade today, I built mine up simply through catastrophic failure, I suppose. And I wrote it down, and I kept a solid journal. And the YouTube channel that we have now started as a visual journal. You mentioned that you journal. Did you build your strategy and the way that you trade from past experience, or is it just through reading books and bolting it together? Because mine came from a journal. It was literally
mine was all personal experiences. As I mentioned, the Asian session's not a red carpet event, right?
No.
There's not many people that boast about being involved in the Asian session or try and sell courses about being involved in the Asian session. So it's not a place really you can go to learn. And I've noticed that, especially since starting Trade Delicious, is the Australian or the APAC region traders have been very attracted because they're just like, wait, you trade our daytime? Like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, well, nothing. It's still a market to trade. So no, it was definitely off trial and error. And it hurts and it sucks because there's going to be times where you make errors, whether it's strategic, whether it's personally, whether it's emotionally, whether it's, physically. But yeah, majority of my system and build up and feel that gut feeling that I've learned to trust over the years is because I've felt the pain of big losses. I felt the pain of drawdowns when I shouldn't be in drawdowns. I felt the pain and just really went blindfolded and run through a bit of a maze with the occasional punching bag around there. And I got punched a couple times, but eventually it kind of confined me into running in a straight line. And
Superb. I mean, one of my favorite sort of sayings on that sort of thing is, I'd rather have a slap in the face than a kick in the bollocks.
Absolutely. But I've copped a few kicks.
But that's the point why I'm not asked about the journal, because I think it's very easy to journal the goodness. Oh, I've made me £100 today. I made £1,000 today. But then when you hit a bad streak, and you've maybe had 7 or 8 trades off the belt that have just really gone wrong, nothing's right. Then you don't write it down. And you kind of sort of snakebite fearful, and suddenly, this is rubbish.
Yeah.
What keeps Jordon going? What keeps the drive? So, because we all have bad times. Our systems can never work 100% of the time. What keeps you, as you say, on that straight and narrow?
Yeah, it's a good time because over the past, I'm coming out of it now, but I want to say like 2 months ago was one of those times for me in a bit of a drawdown, not making money the way I was making money. And it's a conflicting time. It's very annoying. I've been in the market for 7 years now, and it still manages to make you question things. It still manages to really push you when you do hit these levels. But this is a little trick, and I recommend everyone does this, and I recommend this to everyone, which really helped me achieve consistency. Now, this can be done in trading. This can be done in all areas of life, and that's the beauty of it. And it's really, really simple. And it goes back to like things that happen in school. Like I'm talking like preschool levels, like real simple psychological work.
You do know how old I am, don't you? It's a long time since I was at school, and no, we didn't have Scudon tablets.
This is by far something that revolutionized my trading, and it's so simple. Get a calendar, a printout calendar, or whatever it might be, and I want you to do this physically, not on a computer. Yes, I know we're awesome technology. We get calendars on the computer, but it just doesn't have the same effect. I want you to put it up on the wall, behind your screen or wherever it might be, and then go grab a packet of stickers from your post office, like little golden star or something like that. Every day that you do everything right, regardless of P&L at the end of the day, right? You traded correctly, you journaled correctly, even if you didn't trade correctly, but you journaled everything correctly. You did everything you should have done that day. I want you to put a star on that day. Simple as that. That's all you're going to do. And you're going to make sure you can see that calendar every single time you trade. And I guarantee you, it'll bug the hell out of you when you don't have a star on one of those days. And it will eat you up, and it will eat you up until you go, no, I don't care how bad you feel right now, Jordon. You're getting that star. Journal it out, write it out. It'll take 2 seconds. Just quickly. That's what worked for me. I had that drive. I wanted a star on every single day of that trading week. And when I didn't have that star, it killed me. I was like, why didn't I have the star?
Please don't say you take a photograph of yourself and put employee of the month on.
I mean, I deserve it, right? No, but yeah, that's a simple. It's a simple trick. It's a simple little
I think
mind
that
game.
is.
But yeah, it's something that's really good. It will force you, and it will eat you up if you don't do it.
No, I agree, and all round my sort of trading room here, my little study, I have things like that all the time to remind me what I'm doing. It's kind of why I have it on the whiteboard. Less is more, because I truly believe over trading is the devil's work. You know, the less you do, but the more you focus, the better you are. So I think these little mantras are brilliant. Oh, fantastic. But you also touched on starting Trader Delicious. Now, this is where we met. This is how we sort of know each other. So
yeah, the project of projects.
The project of projects. So you tell me where you want to go. For those of you who don't know, Jordon runs a podcast, and he also has Trade Delicious YouTube channel. I'll drop a link below. Do check him out and give him some support. But he's had some great guests on. But he goes into his Asian session live, and he'll trade in the moment like what I do. And this is what I like about the kid, because many people use TradingView rollback. He does what I do. What you see is what you get. And is that a fair analysis of Trade Delicious? What you see is what you get?
Absolutely, yeah. We're very raw. So for you guys that don't know my story, or this is the first time you've heard of me or saw me, I was a retail trader for about 5.5 years, personal funds, and then discovered the prop firm industry. Things like the Fivers, FTMO, prop trading, whatever it is out there. And became funded at one of those, and really found the Fivers. Now, the Fivers stood out to me probably the same way they did to you, Scruff. They were different, they were reliable, and they actually wanted traders to succeed. Like the program that they built was around being sustained. I mean, 6% in 6 months. I was like, are you kidding me? You want me to earn 6% in 6 months? I mean, these other firms are asking me to earn like 20% in 30 days. You're asking for 6% in 6 months. I couldn't believe it. So I went in, I got funded at the 5%ers, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the team, the customer service, the whole build up, and I found an opportunity. So I reached out to them, and we started having a chat and whatnot. Fast forward a couple months, I became a senior analyst there. Fast forward a couple more months, became a project manager, and we really started just working our way through bringing more quality and more value to traders out in the market, because there's a lot of stuff out there. It's just absolute BS, and it annoys us a little bit. Well, for me anyway, it annoys me because I get a lot of people reaching out to me who are beginners. How do I get into trading? I want to start. I want a Lamborghini, and I was like, well, first of all, you're not getting a Lamborghini. Like, roll that off the chart. But it was like very. Oh, unless you're Scruff, then you'll get one. But no, like, so it was all this BS of the industry. So I was like, we were going through, we're creating content. We did a lot of live trading rooms for our traders at the 5%ers. So I'd go live, I'd trade the market live in front of everyone. Everyone could see the trades I took. They can see my P&L. They can see my analysis. They can see how I'm breaking down the chart, how I'm reacting, how I'm scaling out, and really just talking through the market as a whole. And this spurred an idea for us. It's like, okay, what if we did this, but publicly? Let's start looking at opportunity here. Let's show people what trading's really like. No suits, no sitting behind a desk at Bloomberg, no this massive, master's degrees and whatever PhDs that you need in finance to become an economist. It's not what it's like, right? I don't have a degree. I'm not afraid to open that. I know heaps of people out trading that they don't have huge successful careers, but they're successful in trading. I mean, I sit here trading all the time, every day of the week, Monday to Friday. Half the time I'm in trackies, I'm in a hoodie. It's nothing flash, it's nothing fancy. And we wanted to bring that raw aspect of trading. We're sick of the BS out there in the market. We're just going to put all of our value, all of our knowledge and what we do out there for everyone to see and see where it takes us. It's kind of a fun little project of let's see if people like seeing the raw aspect. So we live trading almost every day of the week. It's definitely going to be increasing as we get closer to Christmas. We're going to be trying to do every day of the week. We've got a number of different professional traders that come on every session of the trading sessions. We provide podcast content. It's just an all-round place you can go. It's a community where we're just real raw traders. We're not trying to BS anything. We're not trying to hide anything. You can see us as we are and what we do open to the world. And that's what we're building.
Well, doesn't get any fairer than that, does it? It really doesn't. No, it doesn't. Yeah. And that was kind of my ethos, you know, because I don't like it either. The Lamborghini I've got on my desk is actually a joke from one of my guys, because they know I have an absolute hatred of the things. I cannot stand them. I think it's the poster child of the idiot. But horses for courses. So it's been fab. But if you were to just leave a small piece of advice for somebody looking at this for the first time, you know, because like you, I get messaged all the time, make me rich. Where do I go with that? Because rich to one person's not rich to somebody else. So what piece of advice would you give to somebody that's never really known much about trading at all?
Yeah, tough question. I did a video on this. Yeah, I did a video on this the other day, actually, on should you get started in trading? And because I get asked all the time by friends, family, you know, they look at it and they're like, oh, it's like Wolf of Wall Street stuff. And I was like, no, they're the bad guys. But yeah, we go through and I was like, they ask, should I get started in trading? My answer is always yes. My answer is always yes. Get started in trading. But my real push is it's not what you think it is. It is not easy. It is not this little place where you click a couple. I mean, we do just click a couple buttons and make money, but there's a lot more to it. And the main driver and why I tell someone yes to get involved with trading is whether they go on to be successful in trading or not, they will learn a lot about, excuse me, a lot about global finance and how it works, a lot about managing risk and understanding risk tolerance personally in their own financial endeavors as well outside of trading. They'll learn a lot about themselves, how they manage their emotions, how quickly do they go on tilt, what sends them on tilt, how do they, you know, make their decisions and their thought out process. How disciplined are they? Are you willing to journal all your trades? Are you willing to really dive into, like, you're going to learn a lot about yourself, regardless whether you go on to be profitable or not. So if you want to get involved in trading, absolutely do it. Do it. Get involved. It's fun. It's this misfits community. And I call it that. It is literally a massive group of misfits, but we're all the same misfit. It's this real weird spectrum on what it attracts. Yes, it can change your life monetarily. No, it won't do it rapidly. No, it won't do it easily. And there's a good chance you'll lose a lot of money before you make any money. So expectations should change a lot when you're getting into the market, but I know that's not a small piece of advice, but for anyone that is looking to get involved, do it. Like jump in, but don't expect reward. Don't expect reward anytime soon. Jump in because it interests you.
No, that's it. I mean, if you've got a passion for it, you'll love it. But ultimately, for me, I mean, the advice I always give is it's a job.
Yeah. And
if you treat it as a job, it'll pay you as a job.
You
know, and that's kind of where I come from. But I'm 100% on board with what you're saying. So if people wanted to reach out and speak to you, where would they best contact you?
You can reach out to the Trade Delicious YouTube channel. You can find me on LinkedIn at Jordon Mellor. Pretty much Jordon Mellor on all social medias, Twitter as well. Not as active on social medias, but yeah, YouTube, LinkedIn, they're going to be the best places to reach out to me if you wanted to contact me. Other than that, you're probably going to see my face around with Scruffy a few times in the future.
Yeah, fair play. We'll get on the screens together and see where we go. It's been an absolute pleasure, Jordon, and good luck with your endeavours this morning, because I'm going to bed now while you're going to work.
Pleasure's Yeah, pleasure's all mine. Yeah, I've got a trading session to do, so we're about to go live in about
Indeed.
an hour. So I've got to have a look. No, I really appreciate you taking the time to have a chat to me today and introducing me to all your community. A great community it is, and I look forward to seeing you in June.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, there is a day trading live expo in June next year. It's one of the biggest Forex expos in Europe, and Jordon and I are both on the stage. So adrenaline.
What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, no, that's going to be. It's going to be good.
If I turn up after the pub and think it's the karaoke session. So I hope you can sing some, because it has been known for me to sing. It's a nerve.
You shouldn't have told me that. You know, I'm just going to set that up, right? Like, I'm going to take one of the speaker systems from the conference now and take it to that pub.
Rock on, I'll have a go. I'll not.
Well, don't tell me you're going to like stand up and sing ABBA.
Too much into this, but let's just say the guys and you lot can comment below this and tell him so he can read this. Some of the things you've asked me to do, and I've done it. And all I'll say is, right, you have to be over 18 to see it. Right. Fantastic. So on that note, we shall say goodnight, and remember, guys, always do what you love and the money will follow. See you all again.
Fantastic. See you guys.